All right, week 5, day 2. So today's workout, dynamic warm-up, then went into dumbbell Bulgarian split squats with a reset at each rep, at the top of each rep, for 2 sets of 6, cable sissy squats, 2 sets of 8, dumbbell press, 2 sets of 8, incline fly, 2 sets of 8, 2 arm dumbbell row for 2 sets of 8, single arm downward cable rows for 2 sets of 8 each arm, dumbbell upright row for 2 sets of 8, standing cable rear flies for 2 sets of 8, alternating dumbbell hammer curls for 2 sets of 8 each arm, dumbbell drag curls for 2 sets of 8, alternating dumbbell tricep press for 2 sets of 8 each arm, and then rope pushdowns for 2 sets of 8. And then what I'm going to talk about today is actually going to be wrote out some more stuff here. So I did the cardiac output equation. So you have your Q, which is your cardiac output, which is milliliters per minute. And then you have your heart rate, HR, which is beats per minute. And then your stroke volume, which is milliliters per beat. So your heart rate can be kind of split up into two things that it's measuring, which is your PNS, or your rest and digest. That has the vagus nerve, which is cranial nerve 10, sends an inhibitory response, therefore decreasing heart rate. And then you have your SNS, or your flight and flight. It's like your norepinephrine and epinephrine. It's your accelerator nerve, cranial nerve 9, which is like your excitatory, therefore it increases the heart rate. And then you have your stroke volume, so you have Frank Sterling's law, the preload, so therefore greater stretch, the greater the squeeze. And then you have contractility, which is just the force of contraction from the valves. And then you have your afterload, which is your aortic back pressure, and it is the only thing on here that'll like decrease the cardiac output. So as that relates to exercise, when we're looking at like cardiac outputs, you know, obviously we want to see what the change is from like the onset of exercise to like maybe like the end of exercise. So we can use this equation to kind of figure out how much their cardiac output increases while they're exercising. So say you have somebody who starts out and they got a pretty low cardiac output because they're resting, they're not stressed out yet, they haven't put their body through like an exercise, and they go through like an hour workout, kind of high intensity, it's prolonged exercise, so then that fight or flight stuff's going to kick in, norepinephrine, your cortisol, your epinephrine, all are going to take an axe. That accelerator nerve is going to fire, it's going to send that excitatory response, going to get your heart to kind of beat more, so that way you can kind of get more supplies to your muscle, be able to actually fuel and then refuel your muscle after the exercise.